So about a year ago, I'm on a flight, an overseas flight, and it's on an airline I'd never been on before. So I'm sitting in a seat that's kind of in a bulkhead row, right in front or right behind one of the galleys where all the flight attendants were. And the flight attendants, covering between us and them for takeoff was just this curtain that was hanging down. And there were four or five flight attendants in there, and they were talking loudly. So I was listening because why not? What else am I going to do? But also because they were complaining about their company. I mean, it was like this constant, nonstop about all the things they hated about their company or all the things that were going wrong with their company. And, because I teach this for a living, of course, then my radar picks up and I'm like listening a little bit more intently. And I'm thinking, do you guys not know that I can hear you? And then I realized I'm sure they know that I can hear them, but they must not care. So what does it take? Like what kind of belief do you have in your company that you don't even care if your customers hear you complaining about your organization? Now, if their company knew that that was going on, of course, these people would be in big trouble. But people are constantly complaining about their organizations and very rarely think anything of it. And will do it in public. I've heard it, I can't even tell you how many times. But those circumstances not only impact my customer experience, but they also impact the financial health of that company. So, which is why we're going to talk about this today with the last letter in the word blend for our customer experience. And we're going to use the letter D. And the D stands for deliver an exceptional customer experience while always being mindful of a positive financial return. What does that mean? That means every single person in an organization impacts the fiscal health of that company. And you might say, well, Michael, what does that mean? I'm a janitor. I'm a support person. I'm in finance. Whatever. Maybe you think, well, maybe the only people that impact the financial health of a company are the people in sales or the people in leadership, but that is not true. Every single person impacts an organization. And the question is whether or not they are also impacting it positively or potentially very negatively. So in this case, these people complaining about their employer. Now, I might fly that airline again. This was not going to stop me from ever flying them again, but it made an impact on me and it made me question that company, but it really made me question those employees. So no matter how great they were for the rest of that flight, my customer experience was impacted by their time complaining to each other. So when we think about delivering an exceptional customer experience, it's about the balance of just being a great focus on experience, but also understanding that everything you do has a financial repercussion, either positive or negative, even though you may not think about it. So let's take a janitor, for instance. Let's say you're a janitor in a huge company and your job is the night shift, after everybody's left, and your job is to clean all the conference rooms. And you're like, well, I don't have a financial impact on the company. Well, yes, you do. So what if you don't do a good job in one of those conference rooms and the next day very important clients coming in and they find candy wrappers under the table, or they find used mugs instead of clean mugs? All those things can have huge financial repercussions, and that janitor is the one who made sure that either it's going to work well and be done right or not. So no matter where you are or who you are in the organization, you do have an impact. But let me give you another flip example of this. So if you've ever gone to a restaurant and the server comps something for your meal. So maybe they give you a free appetizer, free drinks. They, give you a free dessert. So I want you to think about why they may have done that. So let's say that they're doing it because they haven't seen you in a while and you're a loyal customer. They're like, oh, we haven't seen you, Michael and Jeff. It's so great to see you. I'll tell you what, your first drink's on us. Now that's a smart move. It's a positive customer experience, has a positive financial return for the business because it makes me feel like a valued customer. And the cost of those cocktails is far outweighed by my feeling great and wanting to continue to come back. Now, let's say they comp my meal because something's wrong with my meal and they don't want me, they say, hey, I'm sorry you didn't care for your meal as much. We took it off your bill. Please let us, try and make it better. We'd like to offer you a free dessert, whatever. Another smart decision because they're trying to fix a wrong. But what if a person says, hey, I got your first drinks, it's on me. And it's because it's that server that you always go to, but they're giving it to you because they know that you will leave them a bigger tip, but they are taking credit for something like, hey, I got your first round. Hey, I slid you an extra free dessert. Hey, this was a mess up drink on the bar. And if they're doing those things to encourage a higher tip for themselves, that's detrimental to the business because it becomes about that individual and not about the sustainability of the business. So when I look at this balance of the D, you can deliver an exceptional experience while also being very mindful of the impact you have on the financial viability of the company. And so as I get people to really think through the strategy of internal and external customers, these are important. So here's my next little thing for you just to think about. All week when we've talked about the BLEND, I've talked about how your internal customers, the internal stakeholders are also impacted. So being mindful of delivering an exceptional experience and being mindful of delivering on a financial return with your internal customers happens the same way. So case in point, a few days ago, I gave the example of my marketing department who was having so many challenges during one sweep that we were putting out 500 ads that were incorrect, wrong phone numbers, wrong dates, wrong pricing. So that was obviously not a good in any way experience for our internal sales customers, nor did it deliver a positive financial return because we had put those ads in newspapers. We had put them in direct mail. We had spent a lot of money for ads that were incorrect. Now, here's the thing. The marketing department didn't do that on purpose. They didn't do that to cause a logjam. But because of lack of oversight and because they were so busy and because they didn't ask for help, those things happened. On the flip side, my team had to understand that in order to also deliver a great experience back to that marketing department, they had to communicate more frequently. They had to actually be ahead of schedule in order to approve details for people, because sometimes things went to print because we didn't have any confirmation. So the new result, when I had them come together and actually help proofread each other's, work on the timelines together, get many more weeks out ahead, we stopped having those issues because the internal customers decided to treat each other better. And they decided, hey, maybe it's really important that we're all looking at the bottom and top line of what we do so that we not only do well for each other as departments, but we all deliver together better for the organization. So that's my motivation for today is remember, always deliver exceptional customer experiences, but never ever forget that you owe something to the bottom and top line of your organization.